Sean Combs paid $100,000 to make sure no one would ever see this video.
May 30th, 2025. A courtroom in New York falls silent. The jury files in, the cameras are locked outside, but the world is watching. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Sean Diddy Combs, music mogul, billionaire, icon, is convicted of transporting women across state lines for illegal sexual purposes. In that moment, an empire collapses, and inside the courtroom, Diddy is taken into custody on the spot. No bail, no delay. But to understand how one of the most powerful men in music ended up in chains, you have to go back, not to the charts, not to the parties, but to one woman's voice. In November 2023, singer and model Cassie Ventura, Diddy's longtime partner, filed a civil lawsuit that changed everything. In it, she accused Sean Diddy Combs of years of physical abuse, drugging and controlling her, and forcing her into degrading sexual situations, including acts with male sex workers, while he watched. Cassie said she lived in fear, not just of Diddy, but of losing her career, her family, even her life. The case didn't go to trial. Within 24 hours, Diddy settled privately, reportedly paying millions, without admitting guilt. To some, that was the end of the story, but for others, it was the beginning. Cassie's courage opened the floodgates. In the weeks that followed, multiple other women, dancers, assistants, and former partners, came forward with similar stories. Their accounts echoed the same themes: power, control, fear, silence. And soon, federal investigators began connecting the dots, launching a deeper investigation into Diddy's inner circle and private life. Cassie didn't just speak out, she sparked a movement, and for the first time, the man once called untouchable was now under fire. Cassie's lawsuit may have settled in a day, but it shook a wall that had been silent for years. Within weeks, more women came forward. Some filed lawsuits, others posted anonymously, but their stories were hauntingly familiar. One former backup dancer accused Diddy of luring her to a hotel for a music job, then drugging and assaulting her. Another woman, known only as Jane Doe, said she was flown across the country, only to be locked in a mansion where she was forced into sex acts under threat. They described a world where Diddy's money and influence acted as a shield. Non-disclosure agreements, security cameras everywhere, staff ordered to stay silent or be fired. Some claimed they were paid to disappear. Others said they were followed after speaking out. As the number of claims grew, the story changed. This wasn't just one man accused of abuse. This was a pattern, a machine. By the time the dust settled, at least 5 women had filed lawsuits, each one reinforcing what the others had said. Cassie had lit the match. Now the fire was spreading, and soon it would reach the federal government. On March 25, 2024, the whispers became sirens. At exactly 6:42 a.m., federal agents raided 2 of Diddy's properties, one in Los Angeles, the other in Miami. Helicopters hovered above. Streets were sealed off. Social media lit up instantly. Why is the FBI at Diddy's house? This wasn't about civil lawsuits anymore. This was federal, serious, and strategic. Inside the homes, agents seized multiple electronic devices, hard drives, surveillance footage, and documents allegedly tied to flights, parties, and payments to women. According to court documents unsealed weeks later, investigators were building a case under sex trafficking laws. They alleged that Diddy flew women across state lines under false promises, used drugs and coercion to control them, and built a network of enablers who helped cover it all up. Former employees were also questioned. Some claimed they had been ordered to destroy phones, wipe security footage, or silence women who threatened to go public. What once looked like random allegations now looked like a pattern of organized abuse. Diddy's legal team called the raids an unjustified witch hunt. But behind the scenes, prosecutors were preparing what they called the biggest celebrity sex crime case since Epstein. And just months later, the Department of Justice made it official. Sean Combs is under criminal investigation. The empire wasn't just cracking, it was collapsing. May 5, 2025. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs begins in federal court, and for once, the man who ruled red carpets is now on the other side of the law. Reporters call it the fall of a mogul, fans call it unbelievable, but inside the courtroom, it's very real. Diddy sits flanked by his lawyers. No cameras, no entourage. Just the weight of decades of secrets unraveling. He faces multiple federal charges, including interstate transport for illegal sexual activity, conspiracy to commit sex trafficking, obstruction of justice. Each one carries serious time. Cassie Ventura is the prosecution's first witness. She walks to the stand, calm, controlled, but when she speaks, the courtroom falls silent. She recounts the fear, the violence, the isolation. She testifies that Diddy choked her during arguments, forced her into sex acts with others while he watched, and once smashed a glass on her face during an argument in a hotel room. She says she stayed because she had no choice. He controlled my money, my travel, my name. I was trapped. Then came the others, a former dancer, a makeup artist. One by one, they described eerily similar experiences: drugs, control, isolation, threats. The prosecution showed text messages where Diddy demanded silence, flight logs placing victims across state lines, bank records showing six-figure hush payments to former employees. One of the most disturbing pieces? Surveillance footage from inside Diddy's Miami mansion, showing women entering his private wing, not leaving for hours, some looking disoriented. His defense team argued it was all consensual, that the women were jealous, seeking attention or money, that Diddy was being targeted for his success. But the jury saw more than just celebrity. They saw a pattern, a man who believed money could bury the truth. Diddy never took the stand. He never said a word. And when the prosecution rested, you could feel the verdict coming like a slow, heavy storm. May 30th, 2025. The verdict: guilty on 2 counts of transporting women for illegal sexual activity. Not guilty on conspiracy and trafficking, but the damage was done. The courtroom didn't erupt, it exhaled. The man who once ruled the music world was now just another inmate waiting for sentencing. And justice, finally, had a name. From penthouses and private jets to prison jumpsuits and concrete walls. After his conviction, Sean Diddy Combs was taken to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. No red carpets, no flashing cameras, just cold metal and barred windows. The judge denied him bail, calling him a flight risk and a danger to the community. Inside, the man who once commanded millions now faced a daily struggle to survive. Sources inside the facility say Diddy was placed under protective custody, kept separate for his own safety. But even so, adapting was brutal. Gone were the luxuries, silk sheets replaced by thin blankets, private chefs swapped for cafeteria trays, bodyguards replaced by guards with batons. He's reportedly struggling with the harsh routines, the constant noise, and the complete loss of control. Meanwhile, outside the walls, his empire began to crumble. Major brands like Ciroc ended deals. His clothing line, Sean John, faced upheaval. Streaming platforms quietly removed his curated playlists. And the once unshakable industry support? Gone silent. Friends and collaborators kept their distance. No public statements, no solidarity posts. In a post-Me Too world, nobody wants to be next. Sentencing looms on October 3rd, 2025. Though he faces decades behind bars, experts predict he may serve 4 to 6 years, factoring in time served and behavior. But no prison term can erase the fallout. Sean Diddy Combs, once the king of hip-hop and business, now waits behind bars, in a world where money and fame no longer protect him. This case is about more than one man. It's about a system that protected power and silence for far too long. Sean Diddy Combs was once untouchable, a symbol of success and influence. But behind the fame, behind the fortune, was a darker truth. For years, victims lived in fear, until one woman, Cassie Ventura, found the courage to break the silence. Her voice opened a door. Other survivors walked through it. And now the world has seen the cracks in the empire. The question remains, is this justice, or is it just the beginning? A beginning of a reckoning in the music industry and beyond. A new era where survivors are believed, where abusers face the law, no matter their fame, where power no longer means silence. Sean Combs once said, "Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write checks." But this time, the check has bounced, and the price is freedom. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think justice was served? Should more people in the industry be held accountable? What does this case mean for survivors everywhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story important, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring you more real stories that matter. And tell us, where are you watching from? Because together our voices can create change.